Libra Rising, this is your outer planet horoscope for the next 2.5 years. The next 2.5 years because I'm going to put focus on Saturn. We're going to talk about all of the outer planets and where they are now and what the bigger theme of life and foundation of life is asking of you, or what direction it is pointing you in based on what we are coming out of. That was a mouthful. Hello, I'm Stasia. I do intuitive astrology. I'm an astrology enthusiast. I'm also very intuitive. So a lot of times I give the messages, I write the horoscope, but then if there's something that feels very heavy, there's a lot of heavy hits that I got off this energy for this collective. So I will give you those as well, or integrate them, and they may not always sound like, why would she say that for that alignment or that transit, but it's an intuitive hit, so I give it all. Okay, so Libra rising. This was a bit difficult. I'm not familiar with Libra energy in a very intimate way. I've had a Libra friend, and like my aunt was a Libra, but I tend to understand like the energy so well. And Libra is very odd for me because I'm like, as I was pulling on, like, I thought Cardi B, right? My aunt Cardi B, bad bitches came to mind, beautiful came to mind, harmony because it's ruled by the planet Venus. But I will do my due diligence by you. I promise. So, Libra rising. With the focus on Saturn, first let's talk about just being a Libra rising. You're ruled by the planet Venus, which means that beauty is important. Libra is like the aesthetics. It is relationships. It is where the inner meets the outer. So you are a person who is going to learn conflict, love, reflection through other people. Heavy for like the rest of your life. But the goal is like to start to understand who you are outside of that, so then you can reflect back in who you are and not feel like that reflection of you, not do anything with it, if that makes sense. So when I say that the chart starts at Aries, we go Aries and we learn all these things. The spark hits, we learn how to, our physical body, we learn what our self-worth is, we learn where we're secure and how to communicate and all these things. And then we get to the 7th house of Libra from like an Aries chart or Aries rising on the wheel. And Libra's like, oh, it's the partnership, it's the other person, it's commitment, it's, contracts. And so you come into this world with that, in that portal at your core. Like, I am seeking my other so that I can feel whole in myself. And really, you're seeking your other from inside of yourself, but not outside of yourself. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how I'm reading it. So you're probably a very beautiful person, and you probably carry beauty as a point of importance, but you're also probably someone who has a temper, because I feel like Venus is an energy of balance. And so it's all good and it's all good and it's all good because you will self-sacrifice and you will people please until you snap the fuck out, because you want people to just see it and understand it. Especially with you being an air sign, it's like, why do I have to show you? You see, I'm beautiful, bitch. The fuck? You oh, here we go. Okay, Libra. But I'm feeling that. Like, I feel like but then there is a point where you do get to, like, because Venus is the second hottest planet from the sun. So, who knew that I could pop off on you like that type of energy? There is a very classic element to Libras. Like, I feel like you're like classically beautiful, or being some sort of like, just classically beautiful is important, or a part of how you show up. All right, so let's get into the outer planets. So first I'm going to start with Saturn, which is not the longest transit, but I feel like it is the planet that is telling you where work needs to be done. Saturn is saying take action here. Do not shortcut. You will follow the rules. There is like, there's reward, but there's like long-term reward, legacy type. It's not like quick payoff, right? So Saturn has entered your 7th house. Again, this emphasis on relationships. Saturn in the 7th house is saying that there's going to be work and maturity through your relationships, your partnerships, your contracts, your commitments. And Saturn offers, like, gives new boundaries with restriction. So you want to go, where the fuck is Saturn coming out of? Because that will let me know where some of these restrictions may come in and what you may be feeling. Saturn's coming from your 6th house, which means that there were lessons around how to maintain your daily life, how to take care of your health. Maybe your pets, could have been a theme over the last 2.5 years. But your health, your daily routine, what you do for work, how you show up for work, your to-do list, how you manage your kids, all of that would have been of importance over the last 2.5 years. And if you feel like you conquered the lessons and alchemized all of the blocks and the restrictions and the boundaries that came up in that area, then you were very much so ready for Saturn in your 7th house. Saturn in your 7th house is saying, okay, so now that you changed that, how does this area of life change as you approach relationships, as you approach contracts? In a mature way, there could be breakups, there could be marriages that end, there could be karmic, like, shit where you be like, I knew that was gonna happen. I could see that coming. Or you, like, just karma and however that plays out for you. If you have things in relationships karmically, they are going to be emphasized during this transit over the next 2.5 years. So some relationships may get stronger, some may dissipate. If they leave during this time, they need to leave. Okay? Like, use your discernment, but don't hold on to shit that is not supposed to be there, because it's just gonna make the next transit even harder as you go through like a healing phase or an upgrade. It just is gonna make it harder. So if you can, like, I would encourage you to like work on yourself, focus inward, because there's gonna be so much outward focus that the better you're able to strengthen your inner world, the more you're able to detach from those lower vibrational things that do not serve your purpose. And your energy is going to be very much tied into the other. So Saturn wants to know, what are you building long term? What do you want to build in your relationships? What type of relationship do you want to sustain you? And this could do, like, this could be your living situation. This could be like roommates, or like, I'm really getting a very heavy emphasis of like living situation. Like, I feel like there's going to be things that come up, like, do I want to live with this person? Do I really want to commit to this person? Like, where you are having to be mature because you just been kind of shacking up or something. That is one theme that is coming through. But Neptune is also here. So Neptune, so that's Saturn, right? Saturn is saying, what do you want to build? Put structure around it. You're going to have to be mature in your relationships and in those endeavors and the structures around those contracts and people and situations. Neptune in your 7th house, I feel like, is saying, I was getting this energy of like dissolving the old childhood trauma or the old narratives that we were told or you were told about what a relationship actually looked like. And I feel like as a Libra rising, you've always carried some sort of fantasy about what the relationship should be, because you know that you're a good person, or you know that you have a good heart, but you never get that reflected back to you externally. So then it makes you've doubted yourself over, this is all spirit coming in, but you've doubted yourself over an extended period of time, which has lowered like your frequency value. And so Neptune in your 7th house is helping you dissolve those narratives in your subconscious that you don't even realize affect you in your relationships. But I feel like there is a set of collective that's kind of like, I'm a good person, I do good things. Why am I getting back trash ass relationships? Somebody's name could be Ashley, though. Hold on. Yeah, somebody's name could be Ashley. But I feel like it's something like that. And Neptune is gonna help you release the fantasy, right? I feel like this era that you're in is gonna be like, you know what? I'm not gonna keep giving my time and energy and effort in relationships that do not serve me. I'd rather just meditate and sit with myself, right? I'd rather take myself out on dates. I'd rather, in the moment you get to that place, I think then serious relationships are going to come in for you because you're going to not be so hyper focused on them, but that is also coming through. I think that Neptune is also going to help you dissolve, like, again, that projection energy that I feel like is there, and any illusions around what love actually is, what a soulmate actually is, right? A soulmate could be something with your children. A soulmate could be your best friend. You know, like, love, the love that I feel like you're seeking is that God love, right? That soul love, that inner compass love. And humans just, they have a hard time matching that because they haven't really made it to the heart chakra where they're able to love themselves or love you properly. And so the way you trump that is just going, I'm gonna just love me properly. And then you'll bring in that healthy relationship that I feel like you're seeking. The number 444 could be important. Neptune in Aries is going to help you dissolve the fantasy over the next 14 years. Saturn in Aries is going to help you build structure around your relationships over the next 2.5 years. So then we have Uranus in your 9th house. Your worldview is going to change rapidly. Okay. And that is going to affect your beliefs. I don't know if it's just the shit that's happening in the world, but Uranus and Gemini is opening up your mind to, like, what the heck is really going on. I feel like you could start to learn new skill sets. I feel like you could start to change, like, who you're listening to because it doesn't resonate. I feel like you feel like people are on some BS. And that is changing how you feel about everything right now. Like, you have to find your own sense of truth and belief. But what you believed in is radically changing, and it's intentional. This also could be coming through experiences with people where it's like, do I even think that I need to be in a committed relationship? Do I feel like I need to be at this job, right? Like, why do I feel like I have to? Because, again, you know, Libras, you will self-sacrifice to the point of anger. And if you're doing that, then that in itself is a lesson. But Uranus is our mind, and it's going to change your perception. And in your perception change in your beliefs, how you learn, what you choose to study or teach or give out is going to change. You may also speak publicly. You may change your belief systems like religion or spirituality. But you're definitely going to question the things that you've been taught about love, partnerships, and relationships from a higher consciousness. You could travel more too. I don't know if I already said that, but you could definitely travel more. Okay, so Uranus is here to liberate over the next 7 years, okay? Now let's talk about Pluto, which is going to transform. Pluto is in your 5th house, transforming for the next 19 years. Pluto is a very serious energy, but it is like, you're not going to approach relationships the same. You're not going to date the same. Whatever you've been through over the last 19 years, or even as you go through these beginning, middle, and end, because, you know, like, an energy has to initiate itself, and then you'll have experiences to match that, like newness, and then you'll get settled in it, and then you'll kind of master the energy over the next 20 years. And Pluto in the 5th house is saying, how do you want to have fun? How do you want to create? What do you want to leave that lasts forever? Why are you self-sacrificing and giving up your power in this area? And, like, we're not going to do that anymore. This could also have to do with, like, your authenticity or your children, your creativity, like anywhere where I feel like you are coming from a place that is not authentic in the 5th house themes. Pluto is about to transform that. So validation is something that came to mind when I was writing this up. How you choose to be validated, or even how you dress for attention, I feel like it's going to change. I feel like that what it's asking of you is to lean more into what it is that you want, not what someone else wants. It is still a house of self. So pay attention to that, because if you want to change your style, if you want to change, like, you know, I don't want to go to the bar and drink no more. I want to go on a coffee date. Like, I want to walk the park. I want to actually get to know somebody. I don't want to date online anymore. You could also go viral, though, with, like, Uranus in your 9th house. There's a big publishing speaking, all of that could go very well for you if you chose to endeavor upon that. Just side note. Let's talk about the North Node and the South Node, because I thought that this was interesting. The North Node and the South Node are going to transition June 26th, I believe is the date. The North Node is telling us where we are heading, right? Where our soul, like our soul mission, our souls as a collective, because we have our own personal North Node, South Node in our chart for our own personal souls. But this is going to be a heavy emphasis on like our internal world, our internal infrastructure, and that pathway that is being presented for us to work through. So the North Node is going to move into the North Node is moving into Aquarius, which is your 5th house. And the South Node is saying this is the karma that you've already come into life with. This is, you know, the things that you've kind of mastered and where you've been putting on, or the things that you need to release, period. Regardless of the why, it's what needs to release and be let go of. And so your South Node is in your 11th house, which means that there's emphasis on you stopping the performing for like your social circles, for the validation. All of a sudden this summer feel that way. Like your goals are going to change, what you hope for, who you want to be. I also feel like there's going to be, Jupiter also moves into your 11th house. So while the South Node is saying, oh my God, this is where you need to release and let shit go, Jupiter is going to make it feel really big. Like Jupiter is a positive planet, but sometimes the energy of Jupiter and its ability to expand our energetic field is going to make you feel like maybe frustrated with everybody, or like who needs to go, who's coming in, what do I believe? You can feel kind of scattered in that, especially with the element of people, because people are fucking confusing. So the goal is to lean into your 5th house. Lean into your 5th house of creativity, of self-expression, maybe even your children. But this is saying, how do you want to show up? Who are you? How do you want to play? How do you want to create? How do you? That is the focus. And North Node, South Node energy tends to be a bit uncomfortable, right? It's because it's a growth point. It's not something that we've mastered. So it can be uncomfortable for you to put yourself first, or it can be uncomfortable for you to put your projects, but I also get a sense of like, this is where your intuition is going to be heightened, like through your creative projects, because Pluto is also there. And Pluto is very deep and transformative in a very psychic way, in a very knowingness. Like your inner world is guiding you from a very deep place. So grow toward individuality, your romance, the things that bring you joy, the things that, you know, make you happy, that turn you on. And this is not just an intimate, like adult coloring, but just generally turn you on, and that beauty inside of you lights you up. That is going to be like your guiding force through all of this. That was a lot for Libra. I think I touched on everything, but remember, Saturn is telling you where the work is going to happen. So relationships are a theme. The love that you're seeking is within you. And once you learn to master that, you can be as beautiful and vibrant and healthy and balanced, and justice will be served, and what is yours will come. I love you.